And without further ado, do you want to go into the story that Glenn broke today? Shocking, breaking news. Daily Wire not exactly living by the free speech principles that they've always espoused. I'm dumbfounded. I'm beside myself. This is flabbergasting news, but I'll let you take it from here, Gavin.
Yeah, definitely some shocking news. But Glenn Greenwald took to his locals page this morning actually to publish a pretty crazy expose about the Daily Wire. Some of you guys might remember seemingly not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro were actually talking about setting up a debate on Twitter. This was all happening publicly, but seemingly the negotiations kind of fell apart because Candace Owens was saying that the day that Ben Shapiro wanted to debate, which was 5 p.m. Eastern on Monday, was not actually possible because of the fact that she was going to be out of town or something like that. I don't remember exactly all the specifics, but basically the day that they wanted to debate, she wasn't available. She accused them of knowing she wasn't available, which is why they put forward that date in the first place. But ultimately, as you guys know, the debate never happened. It still hasn't happened. It's not scheduled. There doesn't seem to be any more attempts active to make it happen. And this whole drama seems to be kind of in the rear view mirror up until this post, right? Because now everyone's looking at the whole debate situation through a different lens due to some of the details in this piece from Glenn. So he says, as the Daily Wire publicly negotiated a debate with Candace Owens, it secretly sought and obtained a GAG order against her. By the way, the whole concept of these GAG orders, I'm not a legal expert or anything, but it seems just weird, right? Especially because of the fact that I don't think Candace Owens was saying anything genuinely defamatory about the Daily Wire. A lot of this amounts to her liking tweets that aren't very positive about the organization, but it seems a little bit weird that this is even a thing in the first place, in my humble opinion. Either way, let's read on. It says, on April 5th, Candace Owens publicly invited her former Daily Wire colleague Ben Shapiro to debate about Israel and the current definition of anti-Semitism. It was Owens' criticisms of U.S. financing of Israel and her criticisms of Israel's war in Gaza that caused her departure from the Daily Wire 2 weeks earlier. Both Shapiro and Daily Wire CEO Jeremy Boring responded by saying they would like to arrange the debate requested by Owens. That night, Shapiro appeared to accept her offer, writing, "Sure, Candace, I texted you on February 28th offering this very thing." The Daily Wire co-founder added...
I think that's 29th, but go on.
Oh, sorry, 29th. The Daily Wire co-founder added, let's do it on my show this Monday at 5 at our studios in Nashville, 90 minutes live stream. After Owens...
Also, can we pause it really quick?
Yeah.
Just because not only are they demanding that it happens at this date and time at their studio, they want it to be in person in Nashville live stream. So they're setting up all these hurdles. Most people, when you want to debate, you just say, yeah, here's the link. Can you get on it this time? They'll be like, alpha male, I can only be on 45 minutes later than that. And then you'll be like, all right, whatever, be there in 45 minutes. My stream goes from now until now. That's how debate works, especially with high level debate streamers. They're not going to chit chat with you very much, right? When we debated Vosh a few times, it was the first time he got mad and he got in our chat, I think, and then we set something up. But then after that, it was just more hey, we know we both disagree with this, cross stream. Okay, let's debate. Be done with it, X, Y, and Z. But there's always at least a little bit of no, this time or this time. Okay, whatever. This is, or what they'll do is they'll be I stream X, Y, and Z days during this time. I have arrangement for debates. What slot do you want? It's never this, oh, we're doing it here now in studio my way. That's how you know that the person is full of shit, right? That's how you could tell this is all just front and that they never were going to do anything but posture like they wanted to debate.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we were trying to debate someone, we would just be yeah, let us know when works. So we'll jump on your stream. You can jump on ours. We can do a co-stream, whatever. But it's not like we'd say, if you want to debate us, you have to fly to Kansas City. You have to be here on May 15th at 7 p.m. That would obviously be ridiculous.
And
no one
wear
would
a
take
suit
us up
and
on
tie.
that. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's keep reading here because this does get pretty interesting. After Owens objected to the format and timing, she and Boring exchanged several tweets in which they appeared to be negotiating and then agreeing to the terms and format for the debate. Owens suggested the debate be moderated by Joe Rogan or Lex Fridman. Shapiro said he wanted no moderator. They ultimately agreed to the terms, with Boring offering a series of conditions, including a no moderator debate. and with Owens publicly accepting. By the way, I think that it actually would have been a good idea for, if this debate were to happen, for there to be a moderator, whether it was Lex Fridman or Joe Rogan or someone else.
Lex Fridman doesn't do shit when he moderates. Did you watch that Destiny Norm Finkelstein debate that lasted 5 hours and he didn't chime in but 4 or 5 times in the entire 5-hour debacle? I mean, it was totally unproductive. It was hilarious. There were some good shots at everybody, but it was totally unproductive. It wasn't like it was a thorough debate. It wasn't a solid exploration of the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Now, do I think it was a comical attempt anyway to get Norm Finkelstein to debate in seriousness a guy named Destiny off the internet who he'd mocked at length on our own podcast? Of course, that's not exactly something that I would have anticipated, but there was no effort at all from Lex Fridman to moderate it or steer it in a different direction. That being said, I think that honestly, Joe Rogan is dumb, but he would be a good. I think he would have been a decent moderator in this situation, because I think he has a level of respect for Ben Shapiro that he wouldn't want to fuck up, and the level of knowledge that Ben Shapiro's audience makes up a decent amount of his newer audience as well. He has a conservative leaning audience, but he's also had a relationship with Candace Owens before. She agreed, and I think they actually got into it a little bit with her. What was it, climate denial or something like that when she was on his podcast? Anyway, so it's not like they've been without conflict themselves. I know Joe disagrees with Ben Shapiro on pot legalization. So would Joe Rogan be my first pick for a debate moderator in almost any scenario? No, but if it's the right wing that's going to hash this out, they're going to have a moderator that they fuck with, and I think that Joe would at least do a better job. He would treat himself like a fucking MMA referee. Okay, you guys are just tangled up and you're not being productive. Let me separate you. You know. Oh, but when you're both getting good trades in, no, then you can back and forth. Then you can volley a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I would actually take that.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. Rogan would have been the best moderator. He seems to have decent relationships with all parties involved, and he would have kept it, interesting and also kind of, I think he would have not taken it quite as seriously as Lex Fridman. He kind of would have made it a bit more fun in some ways. But either way, 2 weeks later, many readers of both Shapiro and Owens noticed and complained that the debate had not yet happened. On April 24th, Owens addressed those inquiries by explaining that the Daily Wire had yet to propose dates, while reiterating her strong desire to ensure the debate happened. But the debate was never going to happen. That is because the Daily Wire, in secret and unbeknownst to its readers, sought a gag order to be placed on Owens after she had called for a debate. They did this under the cover of secrecy before a private arbitrator at exactly the same time that they were claiming in public that they wanted this debate and were even negotiating the terms with her. To this date, the Daily Wire has not informed its readers seeking to understand why the much anticipated debate had not yet happened that they had sought and obtained a gag order against Owens. When seeking a gag order to be imposed on Owens, the Daily Wire accused her of violating the non-disparagement clause of her agreement with the company. To substantiate this accusation, the company specifically cited Owens' initial tweet requesting to debate with Shapiro as proof of this disparagement, along with concerns she voiced that Shapiro appeared to be violating the confidentiality agreement between them by publicly maligning Owens' views to explain her departure from the company. While the company claimed...
if we could pause it really quick. I just want to add, this is the right wing just 100% showing you that they have no real commitment to free speech right there. Let's look at how this, free speech media apparatus is structured. Oh, you have any criticisms of the way the Daily Wire functioned while you work here? Sorry. You don't get to write about that. You don't get to talk about that. You don't get to favorite tweets on the internet about that, because we've got you wrapped up in a non-disclosure agreement or whatever, or confidentiality agreement, as it looks like it was. And then, while we're negotiating the terms in court for your departure, now we're going to appeal for a gag order, right? Which is the same kind of shit that they used for Donald Trump when he's trying to use his political clout and celebrity to, influence jury pools or, the judicial process or whatever. It's not somebody liking tweets on Twitter when they've just, departed from a media company. I mean, it's absolute insanity. So flies right in the face of, all the free speech principles that, the right wing and the Daily Wire constantly claim to express. Oh, I'm just talking about ideas. The left is so afraid of our ideas, all this stuff. They're so afraid of free speech. Second, it bites them in the ass. They hate free speech. And we've seen that evidenced again by the peaceful pro-Palestine protesters, and how they've been responded to.
Yeah, totally. And it seems really weird that they were able to cite the attempt on Owens' part to debate them as an example of disparagement.
Oh,
Given
it's
the
not going to
fact,
hold up in court at all.
you don't think so?
I mean, not unless Candace Owens has way shittier lawyers than I imagine she does. I think her husband and her are pretty wealthy, and that's bullshit to argue that.
Yeah, I thought so too, especially given that they were engaging with her statements affirmatively, saying that, yeah, we would be willing to debate, posturing one way publicly and then using the whole exchange privately as an excuse to gag her. That's just absolutely insane. I don't even know how it's disparagement to try to debate someone. I mean, like,
right, it's
people
business
debate all
for
the
them.
time. Yeah, exactly. It's literally one of the main aspects of the Daily Wire's business. One of the main reasons why Ben Shapiro got so popular in the first place was his stupid debate performances. So yeah, I mean, it's just outrageously hypocritical. But yeah, let's go on. There's a few more details here. The company claimed that the arbitrator the company claimed before the arbitrator that it did not object in principle to a healthy debate. It urged the imposition of gag order on Owens by claiming that the way she requested the debate constituted disparagement of Shapiro and the site. So she should have been like, I love you guys and have no problems with the Daily Wire whatsoever, but let's have a friendly debate anyway. Like, I guess that's what they wanted her to do. And to justify the gag order it wanted, the company also cited various criticisms of the Daily Wire and Shapiro on X that Owens had liked. This proceeding took place as part of an exchange of legal threats between the parties after the public agreement to debate about Israel was solidified. Those threats arose from the fact that various Daily Wire executives and hosts in both private and public were castigating Owens as an anti-Semite. On March 22nd, Daily Wire host Andrew Klavan published a 1-hour video that hurled multiple accusations, including anti-Semitism, at Owens. The Daily Wire cited Owens' response to that video. Her defense of herself from those multiple accusations is further proof that she needed to be gagged. So again,
also, go ahead. Sorry, Gavin.
Oh, I was just going to say that it seems like the only reason why this kind of gag order thing would be necessary is if she was actually like, spilling the beans about the Daily Wire's, stuff going on behind the scenes business wise that made them look bad or something like that, something defamatory. But none of this to me seems like it meets that, it meets that level at all.
No. And it's funny because you could really probably make a credible, thorough argument that Candace Owens is at least sympathetic to entertaining anti-Semitic ideas and conspiracies, given her defense of Kanye West, right? Given her, association with the Nick Fuentes right and the weird uprising of the Groyper movement and just toying around with these guys, that would be a sensible and credible argument for a genuine anti-Semitic. The things that Kanye West said made Alex Jones take a step back and say, well, we don't agree with that on this podcast. Hey, brother, don't get me wrapped up in another lawsuit. I don't need that. I'm already bankrupt, right? I'm already hiding my money in enough offshore bank accounts, right? So even if you've already lost Alex Jones, right, we know that you could you've definitely lost a jury when you're making the case that somebody's anti-Semitic. The way that they've done it now is so hilarious, and it's so obviously self-serving, and it's so obviously indicative of a corporation that's just trying to besmirch and diminish the, value in media, right? Diminish the, I mean, you hate to compare yourself to a product in media, but that's what we all are. Nobody cares about me and Gavin. They only care about the Vanguard to the very little extent that they do care more about what Candace Owens has to offer, essentially, right? And this is no different than you find out that the police are going to let your ex-girlfriend keep the TV that you bought. Let's fucking break it with a baseball bat. Fuck that lady. You know what I'm saying? It's now what are you going to have? Not, it's basically just trying to dump the value of Candace Owens in the media market, make sure she doesn't get a better job, make sure that she doesn't, poach audience away from them and end up doing better after she left the Daily Wire. Let's, gag her. Let's make sure that she can't, besmirch us, make sure that she can't challenge us, and basically just, limit her opportunity to find a new audience.
Yeah, totally. I think the worst part about this for me, and the thing that makes it so cowardly on the part of the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro and all these fools, is I don't actually think it would have been all that difficult to debate Candace Owens on the grounds that they wanted to, that being that she's anti-Semitic. Why? Because there's a ton of evidence that she's anti-Semitic. It's all over the place. As you just said, she was defending Kanye West. She still defends Kanye West. She still gaslights her audience about his tweet saying I'm going to go DEFCON 5 on Jews, and still acts like that wasn't a clear example.
Except he says DEFCON. I'm pretty sure he like mistakenly says DEFCON. If I'm not mistaken, he doesn't even say DEFCON.
Or whatever he said, he misspelled
No, I know,
it, right?
but like that would even because it is DEFCON. That's the correct terminology. But I'm pretty sure in his original tweet he says DEFCON, which would be even more damning. Let me go ahead and make sure that that's not a lie. But I'm almost positive that he said DEFCON. Yeah,
DEFCON. Right.
Yeah, so, he said DEFCON. See, so it's like even more damning that he's making it even more obvious.
Yep. And I don't even think that it would, again, I'm not a fan of either of these people. I think they're terrible. But if Ben Shapiro really wanted to go into this debate and provide examples or, proof of why Candace Owens was anti-Semitic and why the Daily Wire thought it was necessary to fire her because of that, I don't think it would have been that difficult to do. She's had tons of problematic statements, comments, etc., regarding the Jewish community and a lot of crazy conspiracies too. The problem is that I don't actually think that was really the issue. She's been saying racist shit during her entire tenure at the Daily Wire. I think the problem really was her policy position on the, Palestine-Israel issue and the fact that it was so different from where Ben Shapiro landed. Candace Owens was much more in the Glenn Greenwald kind of school of thought when it came to the whole issue, the whole Tucker Carlson, like America first, why are we spending so much money on Israel when it's not even making Americans safer, et cetera, et cetera.
To be fair, I mean, Glenn specifically, I think he's also appealed to the heart in all of us. I mean, the fucking just sheer fucking destruction of the...
I was talking about Tucker as far as the America first.
Good. Yeah. I was like, give our homie his
Glenn
flower.
He's
done a lot of advocacy
on the Palestine issue for sure. I'm not trying to downplay that at all.
I think that Travis here makes a great point that says Ben Shapiro made it very clear years ago, anti-Semitism is fine and anti-Zionism is bad. And I think that's where Candace Owens really stepped in shit. When she went from, I'm just fidgeting with the Groypers and the white supremacists. Ben Shapiro doesn't give a fuck about that. He didn't even really give a fuck about the Kanye thing. He had to, say he disagreed with it and say he was disappointed, but he wasn't going to fire her for that shit. You know what he was going to fire her about? Oh, dude, stop saying that we should, not give money to Israel, that we don't have to defend. Stop saying that immediately.